Yo. So I know that I have a lot of skeptics who watch the channel. And I don't mean that in any condescending way. I myself am quite the critical analyzer. But I know that through conversation with my own wife, who's a scientist, and other people of science that I also interact with, there's a lot of ways to come at Reiki from a critical angle. And one of the ones that I think makes the most sense is if we can use this energy to heal ourselves and create and manifest our own reality, or the one that we want to see, the one that we want to create, then why doesn't it work? Why are there so many things that we don't like in our environment? And why does it seem that more often than not, the universe presents us with things we don't want rather than things we do? And I think a lot about that because for me personally, when I have my doubts about the energy, a lot of it has to do with, well, if the energy is as powerful as I intuit it to be, if it is the same energy that supports the very existence of matter itself and maybe even ties into the dark energy that keeps our galaxy spinning the way it's supposed to, if it's really all that, then why the bad stuff? And for that to be understood, I think it takes the understanding of a practice in the energy to really grasp how that can be. Because what I've seen, particularly over the past 8 years, and again, I live in America, but through the internet, I talk with people all around the world, and from what I've seen, the past 8 years at least, if not more, maybe that's just when I've become aware of it, most people spend most of their day feeling icky, feeling stressed, feeling bad, feeling down, feeling a lack of the energy. And that idea that there's this lack of the energy pervades everything, certainly everything that's physical. The way that most people see the world is through lack. Their thoughts are filled with, how do I pay my bills? How will I get enough of this? How will I have enough time for that? And I mean, when enough people are doing that, when enough people's base energetic frequency is a screaming out of the lack of what they need, a lack of time, a lack of energy, a lack of love, then as much as we may rally against it, as much as we may get angry about it, when we are in those frequencies of drama, frequencies of unfulfilled desire, frequencies of unrequited love, then we are, in a sense, unconscious. And I don't mean that we're not woke. I don't mean that we're not awake and seeing the world around us. I've known a lot of people who live in these anxious holes who are, in fact, very successful. Maybe they make a lot of money. But I'm not talking about success in terms of physical wealth. I'm talking about, like, energetic health. And I think that the reason we get on these long trains of misery and lack and pain is because our energy and the key of our bodies and the key of our minds and our emotions has a momentum. I would even go as far as say that if you're a miserable person whose body is in pain constantly, or only sees lack in relationships, or only sees bad things in the world around them, then If you've been thinking that for a while, those thoughts, those energies, those emotions have traction, and they, even as the electrons are flowing through your brain, processing what we experience as thought and reality, those electrons carve paths through the squishy pink stuff of our brain and create pathways the more the electrons travel down those paths. So it's not just that, oh, your social life falls apart if you're constantly miserable and repeating the phrases of lack and pain in your mind. It also affects your physical body. And in Reiki, so much of what I treat in sessions and with myself are physical manifestations of things that are very long standing. One of the things, and I don't mean to rant about this, but I don't have a script, and this has been on a lot of people's minds, I think, and I've heard this argument a lot, that if Reiki works, then why do I feel bad? I think that the issue and the reason it's grown so rampant is because I think that we place our energetic selves, our mind's health, and our emotional health in the back seat. Now, I think a huge part of that is because of dire physical situations, economic times. And I'm not saying that people don't go through hard times. I'm not saying that people don't experience pain. But I have seen people who have physical labor for jobs, construction workers, city workers, hole diggers, people like that, come home with nary a negative thought on their mind, crack a beer or some sort of refreshment, sit around with their family, their kids, or their friends, jaw a little bit about their day, and have a fine few hours before bed. There are ways in which we can have healthy energy even in the presence of shit. And I think that when you have that momentum of misery so forward in your life, it can seem unreal that there's any other way of existing. When you've been anxious your whole life, when you've been depressed your whole life, the whole universe coalesces around your perspective in order to reinforce that you're right. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that once you place your energetic work, your connection between your higher self, your soul, your Atman, your God, your energy, and your physical existence that we spend like 99% of our time focusing on, if we can spend even a little bit of time negotiating and allowing the development of our energetic selves along with our physical, economic selves, then the support we can gain from an energetic stance is, I mean, it's unlimited. I mean, there's so much energy that literally manifests as physical energy that you feel throughout the day. A lack of tiredness. That is what this offers. And I think that it's achievable for anyone just by deciding that this is going to be an important part of my life. And honestly, I think a big reason that a lot of people don't do it is they're afraid that it'll cause change. And with everything that's going on, I don't have time to deal with any more changes because the world's changing enough as it is. And so I'm not going to put time and energy in that. And I think a reason for that is people don't notice immediate feedback when they start giving time to their energetic selves. And it's true, it takes a little while for the momentum of the quote positive energy or the manifestational energy of feeling good and honing in on those things that you want to see and the good feeling of how it will feel once they manifest. That is in a way living in la la land. That is a way in a way, being a woo-woo person. But when those things start manifesting for you because you're out of your unconscious self and you're paying attention to the intuition that all of your energy centers can bring into your mind and give you pathways and give you ideas and give you dreams and thoughts of how to achieve your goals and how to maintain an energetically healthy lifestyle. I mean, it literally gives images and intuitions into the brain as soon as you even begin doing this kind of thing and upping your frequency for like 16 seconds. 16 seconds of straight meditation, just allowing your brain to not focus on crap for 15 seconds can make your energetic stance grow. And still there are some people who won't put the time in. So that's what I'm saying is I know time is short, and I know that adopting a whole other thing to do can be daunting. But I am here to tell you that you do not have to stop what you're doing in order to access this energy. I do it at work all the time. I do it when I exercise all the time. I do it when I'm playing video games and run rooms of Destiny 2 when I'm playing. Like, it's not something you have to stop the world in order to access. I knew a guy once who was a dishwasher for 13 years, and his greatest meditation, the highest trance meditation states he was ever able to reach, were done while he was washing those dishes for that restaurant. That's the way. That's how the energy works. It's not something you have to set time aside for. If you do, great, you can make a lot of progress, but allow yourself to feel a little better about what you're doing and about how you're feeling and about how you're thinking, even if that means you have to just let go of the misery train of thought that's already going. Even if you let go for 16 seconds, maybe even if you come back to that thought that you released and you can think a slightly better thought about it because you've raised your frequency a little bit by not focusing on it for a little bit. Anything like that. Anyway, I didn't mean to go over my time. I usually make like 10-minute videos, but this is something I'm passionate about. And I really think with just a little bit more focus into your energy and the work that's required to understand what your own emotions and energies are trying to tell you, there's just tremendous, and I would argue relatively immediate benefits to doing that. So thanks guys for watching the channel. And this is your first time tuned in, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.